Call to order, January 7th, 2025, meeting of the North Andover Planning Board. Good evening, Jean. Could you take roll, please?
Sure. Kate Kelly. Present. Sean Kivelin.
Here.
John Simons.
Here.
Eitan Goberg.
Here.
Peter Boynton.
Aye.
Chris Kasoris.
Here.
Bond release, 115 Winter Street, Adrian and Adam Ramos, request for release of $4,000 performance bond associated with a watershed special permit, which allowed for the construction of an 18 by 38-foot in-ground swimming pool within the 150 non-disturbance zone and 400-foot non-discharge zone of the Watershed Protection District. All right, Jean, tell us what we got, please.
Yep. So construction is associated with the pool and patio is complete. The site is fully stabilized. The required engineer certification letter and as-built plan are included in your meeting packet.
Okay, so everything in order. Any reason not to release the full bond money? Okay, great. Can we get a motion to release bond funds of $4,000 for 115 Winter Street?
So moved.
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's approved. Thank you very much. Okay. Potential May 13th to 25 annual town meeting zoning bylaw amendments. Jean, how do you want to go about this?
I think we can just flip through them. I've provided clean copies, but made edits based on last meeting's discussion. One second.
So we're looking at the ADU bylaw first.
We'll just knock out the family suite.
Family suites.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, family suites.
So you had settled on a date of July 1, 2028 to sunset the bylaw in residential 1, 2, and 3 zoning districts, as well as residential 4, and to sunset the definition as well on July 1st, 2028.
Okay, and so for anyone who tuning in tonight, that is the family suite bylaw is our current bylaw. Our plan is to recommend that be sunsetted when we adopt a new accessory dwelling unit bylaw, which is in conformance with new state law. And so that we're just going to make a slight change to sunset or have that bylaw lapse as of a date 3 years in the future. Any questions, comments from board members? All good. Any audience questions or comments? Jean, has any comments come in online? Okay, so we'll continue that to the next meeting date.
So the historic.
Oh, actually, question. When do we plan to do publication and start the public hearings?
It'll be sent to the Tribune next week for a posting date of a week from Monday and 2 weeks out as well. So twice before February 4th hearing date.
Okay, February 4th is when we will anticipate opening the public hearings.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
So, Mr. Chair, can I
Yeah.
just ask Jane a question about that? So when do you need our feedback on any, like, edits that we have to the documents that you,
Yep, as soon as you have them. So
what's the deadline for it? When do you need them by? What's the
well,
latest?
once the hearing opens, it's going to be continued for every meeting right up to town meeting.
Okay.
And we can make red line edits all the way through it, up until the time the warrant prints, which is usually the first week in April. So I don't have a deadline. It's just until the warrant prints, you can make edits.
When we do the publication, is it the whole bylaw, or is it just like a summary?
Well, it's a legal notice that lets people know a summary of what the article is. It's 2 sentences, and lets them know they can come to the clerk's office or the planning department to see the full text associated. And that text is available in red line from now till town meeting.
So what will happen, it's a good time for an explanation. What will happen is Jean will put this notice in the newspaper. By Massachusetts general law, we're required still to publish in the newspaper. And basically, as Jean says, it says, okay, we're going to do a amendment to the family suite, and it's going to sunset. Or we're going to do an amendment to the floodplain district, changing the maps. Or the accessory dwelling unit, establishing accessory dwelling units as established by state law. And then that publication starts kind of the clock for our public hearings. We start our public hearings within a few weeks after that, so it'll start February 4th, and we'll have public hearings on these throughout February, March, April, up until town meeting, which I think is May 15th, maybe?
May 13th,
May
if I
13th.
remember right.
Sometime in the middle of May. And so they can be amended, just this part is to get the notice. I'd say to the extent that that people have edits, it would be best if we could have them in before that first public hearing, just so that we could talk about them during that public hearing. It's easier to change it, but if we see things as we go that need to be changed, we can still do that.
And the avenue for folks to comment is only verbally at the public hearing, or is there a written comment process as well?
They can send me an email, and it gets included in the meeting packet. They can email me during the meeting if they have a question based on whatever's being discussed in that night. So it can be written or in person.
But the only way for them to access the draft bylaw is to come into the office?
No, it's attached to the agenda, so the agenda has links on them. And so whatever version you're discussing is posted on Thursday prior to the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay, Historic Barn Overlay District.
Okay, so we discussed last meeting, this is really housekeeping for the information required to be consistent with Mass General Law and to include the map itself, which is stated in the article and yet was not attached in last year's warrant.
Okay.
Simple housekeeping.
Any questions, comments regarding the Historic Barn Overlay District draft bylaw? None? Have any comments come in to Eugene?
Nope.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, for the limited site plan review, I had to further edit because what I realized was in addition to detached accessory dwelling units being included in limited site plan, we are now including an accessory dwelling unit on the same lot as a two-family or multifamily dwelling. So whether it's attached or detached, if it's on a lot with a two-family or multifamily, it is also subject to limited site plan review. And that's the same edit throughout the bylaw.
So everyone good with that? So based on the guidance we got from the state, we cannot, our original plan was to recommend stating that accessory dwelling units could only be one per lot, that we're not allowed to say that we're not allowed to enact that limitation. And so we are saying that it has to, if you're going to have more than one per lot, it would have to be by the limited site plan review.
Yeah.
Also, if it's detached rather than attached to your dwelling, it would be by limited site plan review. So really, anything that makes the ADU more than basically what would normally be similar to an addition to like a single-family house, we're going to have you just do it by the limited site plan review under our Dover bylaw.
So I just have a quick question. So I guess on the language, why have two-family or multifamily? Why don't just have multifamily dwelling? Is there a different, I'm assuming there might be a different definition.
There are separate definitions under our bylaw and with separate zoning districts and things like that. So we tried to make it match our zoning definitions.
Got it.
Any other comments that have come in on that? I assume not.
In that edit, where it says an accessory dwelling unit.
Yep.
Oh, I was looking at the edit up above. Oh, no, right there, an accessory. Is the word "an" intended to mean a single?
That's a good question.
No, because after multifamily dwelling, it's or educational uses but are permitted. So proposing religious, detached, an accessory dwelling on a multifamily or educational uses but are not permitted to withhold.
No, what I meant was, is the word "and" mean one accessory dwelling unit, as opposed to two or more?
So, okay, right, so detached accessory dwelling units come for limited site plan. Accessory dwelling unit or unit or units on the same lot as a two-family, right? Because you could apply for,
If accessory wasn't in beginning with a vowel, it would be a accessory dwelling.
right, but no, the question is, should it be plural? Should it be more, could you apply for more than one, two, or three on the same lot? I think is
That's
the
my
we could do.
question.
You
Well, the
can't.
rest of them are
Right.
plural in that phrase.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
All the other things listed in that phrase are plural, and that one's singular, is what I think
And
you're
so
saying.
my concern, Gene, is not proper grammar, because I never learned that anyway. My concern is, would this be argued as it's only one? Or could someone say, no, that's just a grammatical term, it can be more than one?
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. I think I mixed the interplay of things.
Okay.
Apologize. Well, I was talking about before, I misspoke. We do say in our bylaw that you can only have one per lot. This is if it's an accessory dwelling unit on the same lot as a two-family. So you can only have one accessory dwelling unit, but this is if it's on a two-family or if it's on a multifamily. So if it's not on a single-family house, you can have, we're just still talking about your one accessory dwelling unit. So it should be singular because it is only one, and it couldn't be on a two-family or it can be on a multifamily. That was
But it should still be just one.
correct. It can only be one. Our bylaw does say just one.
So
which we're allowed to.
instead of the word "and," should it be the word "one"?
One.
Or single.
But the requirement for the permit applies to all accessory dwelling units that are on a same lot as a multifamily or.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's just, will this then be argued that, well, sure, we understand it's one for a single family, but since this is a duplex, therefore it should be two. And your use of the word "and" is referring to an accessory dwelling for each of those two units.
So,
I'm
yeah,
just-
yeah, so we could make it a single accessory dwelling unit on the same lot as a two-family or multifamily dwelling.
And if you think I'm
I'm,
overly concerned, then I'll let it go. But when I saw that, I thought, I wonder if someone's going to argue what that means.
detached accessory addressing a single, well, but I mean, detached accessory dwelling units, you can also only have one detached accessory dwelling unit.
Okay.
You can't have multiple
All right, I'll let it go.
accessory dwelling
And
units.
which is addressed elsewhere in
In-
the bylaw, the
Right.
new
Right.
bylaw. So
Okay. Thanks.
We're good with Ann?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for
Yeah,
being willing to talk about it.
It's good to think those potential problems
That's,
through.
that's what I want to
Yeah,
beat this up now.
yeah,
And
right.
Jean, I don't know if accessory dwelling unit should be capitalized in this section. It is capitalized throughout the new,
It's the new, because the new has a definition section that
aren't we using the same definition here?
we are. But we don't have a definition section here, so I haven't capitalized them within this bylaw.
Okay.
The bylaw itself has Article 2, which is all definitions, and then the accessory dwelling unit has its own set of definitions that supersede the Article 2.
Okay.
Right, and the other change in letter A, I added, just to be clear, that review by a historic district authority is also still in existence, if that's where the proposed ADU is going to be located.
Is historic district authority, sorry, Gene, is that defined somewhere?
Historic district is, but not authority.
Yeah, because I guess we have a few historic districts, right?
Machine Shop Village and
Machine
the Old
Shop and then
Center.
Old Center, well, a couple then.
And that's matching the state law.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if we should,
I'll look to,
yeah, I'm just wondering if we should keep it as matching the state law. Again, this is the whole issue, or should it match or should we say review by one of our specific one of our specific ones? And I'm not sure the answer to that. Maybe it's required review by a historic district authority as defined by state law such as, and then we can list ours. Just an idea.
okay, yeah, I'll think about that one.
Okay.
All right. I've not received any comments.
Great.
Floodplain is all the same. I'm still waiting from some guidance as far as how we put a date within the bylaw, given it's uncertain at this time. I followed up with Amy today on that, and she has an email out to the state asking what they recommend. But other than that, it hasn't changed.
So Jean, a question about that floodplain one. It's in cap B, where it says the technical data must be submitted to FEMA within 6 months. By whom and within 6 months of what?
I'm just opening it. Where are you? What?
Page, second page, the B, capital B.
I didn't hear the page. Page 1?
Oh, there's no page numbers. Page two, that, the,
Oh, nope, go back, right back up, Jen. The underlined text on the first paragraph from page 2, this technical data must be submitted to FEMA within 6 months.
who must submit it and within 6 months of what?
The person requesting the determination shall provide any other information deemed necessary by the building inspector to make that determination. So I would, again, I can talk to Amy, but I would think it's 6 months from the time that they requested a determination.
It just seems like maybe that, if we're not understanding it, maybe it should
Okay.
just be spelled out there,
Yep.
So I assume that that's the person who is
probably.
being requested the determination, and then the building inspector or DPW says, hey, we need this other technical data, provide it.
Right.
But I do wonder, is it 6 months from the time the person is requested to give the information, or from the time they make the determination? Because if you ask for determination and then 5 months and 15 days later, the building inspector says, hey, I need this, this, and this, that wouldn't necessarily make sense. But I assume that 6 months is something that is being told to us, not
Yep.
that we're imposing.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe if Amy could ask for some clarity on that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, floodplains, anybody else, comments, questions? Okay, wonderful.
All right, and then the ADU bylaw. So the letter C was added. And again, it's to address the two-family and multifamily concern. All references to principal dwelling have been reverted back to single-family residential district. So that happens throughout. And then H is kind of belt and suspender because the same clause is included in applicability. But again, I put it in general requirements as well. So it's repetitive. If you want it deleted, I can. It's the same language in the applicability.
And for everyone's information, we have, Jean did talk with town council, who's reviewed the bylaw so far, and we're also, we asked to submit it to the Attorney General's office to their municipal department, and the head of that department has agreed to take a look at it just to see if there's any kind of flags or anything that jumps out as problematic. So it would be good to have that kind of advice before we jump in.
All right, and so letter C under 8113, this pertains to the exterior stairs. So we caution that they should not be visible from a public way. However, we allow for a waiver provision, depending on the circumstance. is it?
Gene, did we make a change? I know one of the things we had originally said was that the ADU couldn't be higher than the principal dwelling, but the guidance said that we really couldn't do that. We could only limit it to what's allowed by zoning.
Yeah, we took that out.
We took that, okay.
It has to comply with zoning itself, which is 35 feet in residential districts.
Right. Okay.
So, Gene, was there any further clarification on the utilities? I know that was open. Wasn't that open from the state? They were going to give a little more guidance?
They indicated that they'll include some type of guidance in the
Okay.
next regulations that they promulgate, which likely won't be up until, like I said, January 31st.
Okay.
Still to come. Okay. Okay, great. Any questions, additional questions, comments for now? Okay, Gene, I think it's in really good shape, given all the kind of hurdles that we've come across in trying to
Yep.
change and then not change and then go back and stuff like that. So I think it's in really good shape. So very good work on that. Okay, anything else for this? No? Gentlemen, are you here for something in particular? Just to watch? Okay, okay, fantastic. Not a super exciting night, but just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything you had particular comments on. Okay, meeting minutes. Do anybody have any changes, amendments to the meeting minutes? Could we get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 17th?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Gene, when's our next meeting?
21st, is that right?
I don't know, I didn't have the 25 meetings in
Yes,
my
it's the
calendar.
21st.
And my wife was like, do you not have any more meetings this year?
It's the
Like,
21st.
Yes, okay. 21st. Anything new that we're expecting?
No,
Okay, it's been,
it likely will be just the same bylaws.
okay. Cool. Okay, very good.
All right, guys.
All right. Okay, can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful.